Right, that was a bit messy, I know, I'm sorry. Let's get down to the meat of this thing, okay? This is a GoPro HD Hero 2. Now, I've been a fan of the GoPro series since the original standard def versions, and then the wide Hero, and then they did the HD Hero, and then they've done the HD Hero 2, which is basically just an upgrade of the original HD Hero. And basically this is the Motorsports edition. Basically you attach the camera to whatever it is you plan to use. You know, you can attach it to yourself, to a car, to a bike. I used to attach them to bikes. Here's what we've got. Let's go over the camera quickly. Easy to use LCD interface. That was a mission and a half in the old GoPro to use. What they're talking about is this here. It would come up with a load of random jargon on the screen in the original GoPro, and you really need to have your manual on hand if you want to change any kind of settings. Apparently they've kind of improved on that. A mini HDMI port, which is that one. LED lights on all sides, which are these. These will tell you when you are actually recording. I think that's one up the top here as well. It's going to be kind of handy because on the original, the only way you'd know if it was recording is by a beep or from that light flashing. And to be fair, in sunlight, that was really quite tricky. Let's have a look. What we got here? Wi-Fi backpack remote compatible. Now, this thing, the thing over the HD Hero, the original GoPro even, the HD Hero had the option for backpacks as well, is that you can attach, if you notice, there isn't actually an LCD screen or anything on here, so you can't really aim your camera. That's what this piece here is for. You can get extended cases, which you can put on all these different kind of backpacks. They have an LCD, they have a Wi-Fi backpack, which is the new one that's just come out February. I think it's come out. They announced it for February 1st. But what that will allow you to do is to use these as an IP camera. And you can also control multiple cameras over a single remote. So if you want to do any multicam shoots, that'll be the way to go. What other backpacks have they had? Extended battery backpacks and things like that, so you can double your battery life and all that kind of jazz. Really nice kind of stuff. What else do we have? That, you know, I mean, I think most of them except the Wi-Fi one work on the original HD Hero. The remote will work, but the IP camera function won't. Updated optics. Like I said, this is an update of the original HD Hero. 2 times sharper. Well, the original was a 5 megapixel sensor. What sensor was this? I can't actually remember now. Does it actually say on the box? It probably says somewhere on the box. Oh, 11 megapixels. The original was 5. What have we got? Yeah, 2 times sharper lens. I've actually seen this in some GoPro clips. You really can see the difference. I know a lot of people say you can't, but really, when you look, you can. A 3.5mm microphone jack. This is absolutely brilliant. The original GoPros didn't have this at all. Now you're going to be looking at this and going, but Skaz, there's a plastic casing around this. It's like, yeah, I know. They sell a separate housing, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's called the skeleton housing, and it will have access to all of these kind of little ports whilst it's still in the casing, but you obviously lose. This is waterproof. You can dunk this in the sea and the camera will be fine. Obviously, if you put on the skeleton housing to use, say, the external microphone or whatever, you lose that kind of extra waterproofy security-ness. But what a lot of people do is they just sync in post with something like what I used to use, like the Zoom H4n or whatever. SD cards up to 32 gigs. That is kind of a must, because if we have a look, it actually says down here that 1080 30p is only 4 hours worth of video on a 32 gig card, which it's a lot of video if you think about it, but it's not, if you get what I mean. Like sometimes you could be on a ride for a lot longer than that, but if you have the Wi-Fi backpack, then you can easily stop and start. This is actually really kind of a butchered. I'm really kind of butchering this, but basically what's so cool about this? 2 times sharper lens, f2.8 aperture, 170 degree ultra wide field of view on all resolutions, 127 degrees semi-wide in 1080p, NTSC and PAL resolutions, 1080p, 960p, 720p. You've got 30 frames per second in 1080p, 48 frames and 30 frames a second in 960, 60 frames and 30 frames in 720. Now here's the cool one. WVGA, so it's a widescreen, standard definition, 120 frames a second or 60 frames a second. That's pretty insane. Anali CMOS, light sensitivity, video format H.264 MP4, which is cool because if I remember rightly, the old GoPros, the original GoPros used to record in AVI, and that was a mission to edit on a Mac. So anyone who uses a Mac, these are cool for you. Exposure controls, white balance. Photos. This is really cool as well. Photos, let's have a look. 11 megapixels, 8 megapixels, and 5 megapixels. Single shot, 10 photo burst, time lapse, and self timer. I think the 10 photo burst is 10 photos in a second. I'm not too sure though. Audio, mono, 48 kilohertz, AAC compression, auto gain control, stereo external microphone input, 3.5mm, which is pretty sweet. I've already gone over kind of the recording times. 1080p is 4 hours, 960p is 6 hours, 720p, which will probably be what I record on, because it's 60 frames a second, 4 hours like 1080p. That'll be nice for some nice slow-mo shots. WVGA, 120 frames a second, 4.5 hours. In the box, USB charging cable, how long it takes to charge the battery. Remember, you can buy external batteries and stuff. All the operating systems it's compatible on, and all the different GoPro backpacks, which I've already kind of covered. The Wi-Fi backpack, the LCD backpack, the battery backpack. Oh, and the 3D Hero system, which allows you, it's basically 2 of these, and you can stick 2 of these together, and you can create 3D movies with it. Alright, I am going to really enjoy using this camera, but what else do you get? I know I'm dragging this one on, guys, but seriously, I am so excited about this camera. I've been waiting for ages. Alright, there you go, there's your battery, and a skeleton housing. They recommend that if you're going over, I think it's under 60 miles an hour or something like that, you use this housing so you get better audio, but anything over that you go on to the full-blown solid back, so otherwise you'll end up with unusable audio, which is kind of nice, I suppose. I'll probably just leave it in this housing, because I'll be using an external microphone anyway. Battery, USB cables. Nice one. They're using regular USB leads. The original GoPros used these really annoying leads. I really didn't like them. Some GoPro stickers for you to put on your bike or your helmet or your car or whatever it is you plan to stick them on. Stick them on your forehead if you want. In here. Here we go. This is the meat of it all, guys. These things are brilliant. Right, you've got all kinds of different adhesive mounts. I won't actually bother taking them out of the bag. But you've got flat mounts and curved mounts to stick on helmets. What they basically do is they have a small clip and like an insert. It's basically like this, and you slot your camera on and they stick to something and bam, you know, job done. Tons of those. You can buy these, like more of these, pretty cheap. You know, like mess here. This is amazing. I can't remember what company makes these. It's not GoPro that makes this. But I have 3 of these now, because every time you buy a Motorsports Hero, you get this suction mount. This thing is solid. Have no fear of losing one of these when you're using a GoPro on a car or bike, on the top of your helmet. You know, this thing will hold. You can literally stick it to the top of your helmet and shake it, and that thing will, that will stay. It will stay on. It's really stable. I've only ever had one of these fall off. Ever. So I still recommend you kind of tether it to something, but I mean, you know, this is pretty mental. And then you've got an L clamp, which you can like stick to one of the mounts. Like as you can see, I've got all the mounts have got these kind of like little grates on them. And you can stick this to all the kind of different mounts, you know, slot it in here so you've got like different levels of articulation. So you can, this is like an L clamp, so you can stick it to the side of your helmet, because obviously it's going to go, if you stick the mount to the side of your helmet, it's going to go like that. The camera's going to be on the side, so obviously you're going to want to stick the mount on, stick this in, and then have it kind of clamp, say, sideways on, like, you know, You get what I mean, so you can, the camera's facing upwards. I don't know if it's still an option, but you used to be able to record with this thing upside down as well, which is pretty hardcore. It's got an automatic flip feature on it. Oh yeah, and then a bracket. Be careful of this bolt. It will come out when you start to put the screw the things in. If yeah, these. When you push these in, sometimes they come out. Sometimes the bolts come out. So just make sure you've got hold of that. You're pushing it in as you screw the bits. And I wonder if do we have any spares of those? No, it doesn't look like, which is a bit of a surprise. No. Obviously the instruction manual's not really all that cool. I won't be putting up any footage because I can't actually ride my bike for a wee while. But I mean, seriously guys, just look up GoPro HD Hero 2, you will love this thing. I really do think you'll like this. If anyone's into motorsports or hiking or anything like that, extreme sports, just anything really, get one of these cameras. Well worth the cash. They retail for about £300. If you know where to go, you can get them for about £200. You can get the original HD Hero for about £200. I mean, you just can't go without. If you've watched any kind of fancy TV shows like Mythbusters or whatever, they've all got these stuck to their heads, Top Gear and all that, use them as well. Really solid cameras. I've never had a thing bad to say about them, really. So that is the GoPro HD Hero 2. I don't know. Have fun guys, go out there, trash your cars. And make some nice footage.